You want to open up my thing?
Wait
Open up.
as soon as he finishes opening.
Oh, yeah. You're a pain in the ass.
Look at mommy. Look at mommy. Say hello, mommy.
Yeah. Hey, Frank.
Here, Frank.
Frank.
Another envelope.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
It's Thursday. I know what day it is. I hold myself back. I try not to say Friday on Thursday nights. It's always got that Friday feel. Of course, tomorrow we will have a nice Friday night show. It'll be at 7 o'clock on the Playhouse with me and my brother Anthony. We're going to have my buddies Kyle and Tim from our old metal band who's been doing a little bit of work together again, getting in shape again. We're getting in shape again. You got to be in a certain shape to be in a metal band. So they'll be by tomorrow to kind of bullshit a little bit. That's going to be fun. And then on Saturday night, we're going to be hanging out with each other at some point. Maybe 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit later, but I'll keep you in the loop on Saturday. I'm trying to think of something snazzy to do. Welcome to the show, though. It is the 12th of March. We are joined by our wonderful friends over on Badlands. Badlands. They're hanging out over there. But we're hanging out on our channels and just doing our thing. I've already got super chats that are in, things that came in right after the show ended last night that I'd like to read onto the record at some point. But we're going to be, remember, tonight, all the super chats that are in by like 8:45, that's probably when I have to start making sure that I got them all tallied up. I got 4 silver quarters here. I'm going to add a 5th silver quarter into it. Now you're getting whoever wins the super chat raffle tonight, and I've got 127 names that are on the namepicker.net right now, which we will generate a winner randomly. Now we got 5 silver quarters and 1 golden ticket from Keto Brainz, so you can get a bag, a full bag, not just a sample of the greatest nootropic creamer that could be added to anything, but in your coffee, forget about it. And I can't wait. I'm already jonesing for that 10:30 a.m. broadcast launch tomorrow morning when we have our standing reservation on the B-sides. I know we haven't had there's been a couple of weeks of no Tuesday morning B-sides, but there's going to be a few more coming up. I got some guests booked and things like that, but you'll always mark down 10:30 a.m. on a Friday. And I can't wait for that. We'll have our coffee together tomorrow morning. Also, we got this Mad Ball, this original Mad Ball. Probably haven't seen this since the early 90s, huh? Bounces like an MF. Bounce it all over the place. It's so good. Thank you, Deansy, for sending this over here. A little bit of a relic from our book club reading of Ready Player One. And also, you're getting, whoever wins, a month on Jay Gulanello's website, healthreclamationproject.com. Oh, but we've got a good one here, guys. We've got a good one. We've got a lot of different things going on out there. Like the show, comment, do whatever you can. Chinese national has been arrested. Did you hear about this? A Chinese national has been arrested over attempt to smuggle 2,000 queen ants from Kenya. This is on MSN. A Chinese national has been arrested in Kenya's main airport accused of attempting to smuggle more than 2,000 queen garden ants out of the country. I'm telling you what's happening. The Chinese, either on their own accord or they're being paid by us to do it, are creating chimeric creatures, much like all of the old Japanese Godzilla films. All those monster movies are coming to life one day. We're going to get the giant praying mantis, the giant ants. They actually had a movie about that, the ants. I think the praying mantis, those were the ones that were introduced in that silly movie, The Son of Godzilla. Something's happening here, okay? Don't be surprised if an invasion force shows up at the southern border one day and they're just not human and they're not robot either. They're like some weird kind of ant. Zhang Kekun was intercepted during a security check at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in the capital of Nairobi after authorities discovered a large consignment of live ants in his luggage bound for China. He has yet to respond to the accusation, but investigators say in court that he was linked to a garden ant trafficking network that was broken up last year in Kenya. A garden ant trafficking network. The ants are protected by international biodiversity treaties and their trade is highly regulated. Last year, the Kenya Wildlife Services warned of growing demand for garden ants, scientifically known as Mesocephalotes, in Europe and Asia, where collectors keep them as pets. A state prosecutor, this is all about pets. A state prosecutor told the court on Wednesday that Zhang had packed some ants in test tubes, while others were concealed in tissue paper rolls hidden in his luggage. In tissue paper roll? Oh, alive. Yeah, you just seal off the rolls, one end to the other. Within his personal luggage, there was found 1,948 garden ants packed in specialized test tubes, prosecutor Alan Mulama told the court. But is this, wait, I need to know a little bit more about this. Last May, Kenyan court sentenced 4 men to 1 year in prison and a fine of $7,700 for trying to smuggle thousands of live queen ants out of the country. A first of its kind case. 4 suspects, 2 Belgians, a Vietnamese, and a Kenyan, it sounds like the beginning of a joke, had pleaded guilty to the charges after their arrests in what the KWS described as a coordinated intelligence-led operation. This is getting ridiculous. Tell me why. KWS is more used to protecting larger creatures such as lions and elephants, described as last year's ruling as a landmark case. The ants seized last year were giant African harvester ants, which KWS said were ecologically important, noting that their removal from the ecosystem could disrupt soil health and biodiversity. It's believed that the intended destinations were the exotic pet market in Europe and Asia. Really? I mean, I guess if the price is right, then okay, but exotic pets, you want these ants, what the fuck do they look like? Queen garden ants. Let's see here. Kenya queen garden ants. What do you look like? They don't look like anything special. I don't see anything special over here. They just look like regular ants. What? This is crazy. Listen, like I said, if the price is right, then I understand why okay, whatever you want, you're going to pay me, X amount of thousands of dollars, X amount more if it means I'm going to go to, it just can't be about pets. Okay, well, we'll keep this one on the shelf. We'll keep this one on the shelf and move on. We'll come back to it, especially if something happens. Somebody has a 17-foot tall queen ant that walks their backyard one day. We'll know what the Chinese were up to. Here's a interesting study. Shocking. New Harvard study finds that Islamophobia may be caused by Muslims trying to murder people. That's Thank you. Thank you. Reported by Gabe Owners. Thank you, Gabe Owners. So, a shocking report by Gabe Boners. In a bombshell discovery that has left academia reeling, a new Harvard study has concluded what every sane person has known for a long time. Islamophobia might have something to do with being repeatedly murdered. Well, thank you, Gabe. It's good to have you out there. Here's something that is not loosely, but strangely related. I got to see here if this is for real. I saw this that the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles, that famous tower right there. I'm pretty sure that's the one that got nuked in Independence Day. Isn't that the one that got nuked in Independence Day? Well, apparently, this U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles has been acquired by none other than Larry Silverstein. Let me just make sure. This is what was going around. I grabbed it right before I went on air. So we're going to check on this together. Come on now. It is true. Larry Silverstein's firm, Silverstein Properties, acquired the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles. The deal was announced in July of 2020 and officially closed in September of 2020. This is old news. Post-acquisition updates as March 2026. The renovations, Silverstein Properties completed $60 million of renovations in 2023. Did they get all the asbestos out? I hope they got some terrorist insurance. Oh, man. Okay, well, I don't know why it's going around right now. But still, that's something I did not know. I didn't know that. So putting that out there for your consideration. In other news, this has been building up. Look out, hikers. This is from Ohio. I think this is a local outlet in Ohio, but now it's being picked up on by the New York Post, by Fox, and a few other places. Of course, I just lost it. Get the hell out of here. Oh, gosh. This is ridiculous. Every site has been ruined. By click here. It's just awful. Let's just go. I'm just going to re-click it again. Look out, hiker. Oh, now it's behind a paywall. Well, in Ohio, there has been a rash of Bigfoot sightings. And as of the printing of this was on March 9th, there was a couple of sightings out there, and that has ballooned to about 5. Okay, 5 sightings. Major Bigfoot surge. I can go to Bigfoot Society for this. I reached out to them for comment to see if they would call in. But here's what we have. Something is moving through the Headwaters Trail Greenbelt. The Bigfoot Society is tracking an unprecedented cluster of activity. 5 high credibility reports in just 96 hours. From Mantua to Wyndham, we are seeing a documented corridor of movement, the variation in height of 6 feet to 10 feet and color of the creatures suggests we aren't just tracking one individual, but a potential family group migrating east. On March 6th, they provided a timeline. Mantua, a 9-foot brown male spotted near SR 44. On March 7th, an 8-foot figure with a deep, vibrating grunt and oversized, muddy prints. Also in Mantua. In Garrettsville on March 9th, a hiker encountered an 8-foot Sasquatch in black fur. Also on March 9th, about an hour or so later, Headwaters Trail, 10-foot black figure with a stilt-like gait and musky odor. We always hear about the stench of a Bigfoot. March 9th, there's a lot going on March 9th. Wyndham, again, a 6-foot, that must be the baby. A 6-foot brown figure spotted running with an impossibly long stride. Well, I'm like 5'11" and change. So what the hell? They just have a small torso and all legs? Or you're talking about stride. You're not actually talking about how big the legs are, but how much ground that they are covering, I guess, as they propel themselves forward. Perhaps that's it. I started thinking about the physical dimensions of the creature. We need your help, they say. If you're in Wyndham, Garrettsville, or near Trumbull County line, be our eyes and ears. I would love to hear anybody from Ohio call in if they have anything on this as well. Have you seen any Bigfoot lately? I would like to know about that. There was somebody in here that, of course, it's always going to attract people who just love this kind of a thing. It's also going to attract people who want to just remind everybody that this is nonsense. They want to come in and they want to hover over your bowl of Cheerios and just dump an entire bladder worth of pee into it. There you go. Enjoy your Cheerios now, dork. Well, here's what somebody said. Looks like their response was put together by AI. It's ridiculous right now what's going on with like Grok and AI responses. It's not even like somebody says something and, the first commenter is always like, Grok, is this true? I can't take that. But now what people are doing is they're not even talking to each other. Like it used to be fun to watch people just talk to each other. If they're intelligent, that's interesting on a whole other level. If they're unintelligent people, then you're just watching two like cavemen-like knuckle-dragging freaks just trying to figure out the internet and just waste their day doing that shit. Not that I haven't wasted my time in comment sections, but every once in a while you can be bougie and sit back and drink your coffee and watch other people be Neanderthals for a second. But now, more and more, you see people that are responding to each other, and you know that before they responded, they ran the other person's comment through some kind of a chat GPT and told it what they wanted to dispute and how they wanted to do it. Hey, dispute this for me. Play devil's advocate, something. Give me something to write back. Make it only 1 or 2 sentences long. You just know. Like it's one of those things where it's just so obvious right now. It's so obvious. AI talk is so obvious. Anyway, believing in Bigfoot is as adult as the intellectual equivalent of still leaving cookies for Santa, this one AI guy said. If Bigfoot were real, they'd need a substantial breeding. They'd need a substantial breeding population, dozens, if not hundreds. They'd leave behind massive amounts of physical evidence. I don't think so. Someone would have shot one by now. Hunters aren't exactly known for restraint. Roadkill would be a thing unless they're also traffic-savvy geniuses. Well, that's the whole. That's what we're talking about here. Most people are not just thinking that there's a skunk ape. Most people don't think that there is just a skunk ape that is as physical and as secular as, a mountain goat hanging out in your backyard. That there's something else going on there. There's something else going on a Skinwalker Ranch level. The weirdness, the predator-like translucence. There's just, I don't know. It was never just about that with me. Because I wanted all the same things there too. Every once in a while, there's the carcass would show up, but there is something else here too. They're so elusive. How can you be elusive? And I'm challenging people out there to call in because I am always open to non-human encounter stories, and I love the stories that have come from this audience when it comes to not only unidentified flying objects of whatever origin you think, but also unexplained stories from our hunters out there in the wild, unexplained stories out there in the wilderness from our friends out there in the military during one deployment or another. I love non-human encounter stories. If you're going to call in and LARP, then just be as convincing as you can. Give us a ride. Okay? But they're so elusive. Well, if you're going to call in, please call in with an explanation for this. How do they get around with drones? Thermal imaging that can spot a rabbit from 10,000 feet. We have satellite imagery that can read your license plate from space, or whatever you guys think space is. Trail cameras capture every deer, bear, raccoon in North America. We can track individual whales across entire oceans. Yet Bigfoot remains completely undetectable. Either these creatures are supernatural ninjas, yes, or shocker, they don't exist. Well, guess what, Cheerio pisser? Kiss my ass. You're no fun. I want to go to a party with you there, sitting there with your IPA, smirking at everybody. Actually. Hate those fucking people. So, call in with whatever the hell you think should be considered on that front. I think that should be nice. That should be a nice thing to hear from you guys. 914-200-0269. So just put it right down. Write down your notes and get it on. Get it on with me later on. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So that's it. That's the Bigfoot. Bigfoot's running around in Ohio, especially if you're from Ohio. Give me a call now. This is an older, no doubt many of you have seen this deathbed confession. That's Eugene Akers, Gene Akers. And he talks about his father, who told him on his deathbed of his involvement in the creation of the moon landing broadcast, producing what would be given to the country in 1969 as the moon landing broadcast. That it was all done on a movie set. I'm sure many of you out there share that opinion or belief or know it to be fact in some way. You can call in with your own inside information. I want to hear about it. And I want to talk about this because more important, something else happened recently about the moon landing in our home, and I want to talk about that in a little bit. This will give me a segue. But more importantly, the whole idea of deathbed confessions. I know that these confessions are they are given a little bit more credence. You still have to consider them anecdotal, no? But there's a lot more credence there just because what does a person have to lose and what do they gain from lying about it? There could be things. You could be lying about something to enrich somebody that you're leaving behind. Perhaps perhaps there's a scheme there that a certain lie would be able to enrich something. I don't know. You can come up with a reason why. But still, because of the circumstances, it has just naturally always carried a little bit more weight. So I'm going to play this for you. We'll read some of the comments in there. I want you guys to call in. I also want to hear from you guys tonight, not only if you have had non-human encounters, because we haven't done that in a while. Also, just so you guys know, because we did the third shift, we were talking about third shift dreams. The whole show last night was supposed to be about crazy stories I found about dreams, the sleep science stuff, third shift stuff, and of course, all that was left of it was that slightly out of place segment last night, which, whatever, it's okay. I just didn't want to put that off. I didn't want to cancel my guests. I really like them over there at Verso, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. At least we spent a couple of minutes not going too crazy. But this in particular, I would love for you guys to call in, not only about the what was I going to say? Last night I was talking about the third shift and that thread that we did on I think it was like Tales from the Graveyard Shift. These unexplained stories, things, spooky encounters while you were working the third shift overnight, whether it be, you know, in the hospital, if you work at a hospital, or if you work at a cemetery, or whatever the fuck it is. I just came across that episode today because I was going through some stuff, just doing more reorganization and priming of the YouTube channel, and lo and behold, there it was. We did it in 2023. The last time we talked about third shift spooky stories. So I think 2.5 to 3 years is definitely more than enough time to do it again. And it's been a little while since we talked about non-human encounters too. So that's on tap for tonight if you got any. If not, we'll build that up on the side. And the other thing is, have you ever been present for a deathbed confession? Have you ever been present for one? That would be interesting to hear about. But let's take a listen to Eugene Akers' deathbed confession about the moon landing. This is when he was terminally ill.
This is my deathbed confession because now I'm dying of cancer. So I'm going to go ahead and make this video for Bart Seibel. In 1968, my father was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. He was in the military police for over 20 years, and on his deathbed in 2002, we made a recording of what happened. Okay, anyway, this is the story that my dad told me on his deathbed. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968, okay, in Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise. You know, what's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was arm-crated the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. And when Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. Dad told me all these things father to son. He also told me not to ever tell anyone what he had said, but he said on his deathbed that he had to tell somebody before he died because it was just too important not to tell. So this is my death.
So, it's an oldie. It's a goodie. Do you believe it? And one way or another, it just intrigued me, the whole idea of deathbed confessions. And also what you teach, what we teach people going forward. Because we're in a unique position. Here's a couple of comments. I used to laugh at conspiracy theories, but the older I get, the more I believe that every weirdest thing I used to shun is possible. If my phone signal can't work in the countryside today, there's no way signal worked 50 years ago, 280,000 plus miles away. Moon landing is a joke. NASA is a joke. Every government agency is a cover. I don't know if we did or we didn't, but I do find it extremely curious that we've never been back in 57 years. That seems awfully strange to me. Well, we're going back. We took out the old manuals, dusted them off. Stanley Kubrick made the same deathbed confession. He was the director. What the fuck are you talking about? See, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Then you have people who show up and say that. I heard he deathbed confession. He just blinked out. He wasn't dead and he wasn't dying and sick and wasting away. The older you get, the more you realize everything you have to unlearn. And that you have to unlearn everything. It's all connected. Now, before I start opening up the lines, because I'd love to take I would love to take at least a half-hour calls with you guys, and I really want some of you, if you've got incredible stories to tell, if you've got inside information, you better just blitz me tonight. Because somewhere around 8:15, that is in about 45 minutes from now, we're going to have our good friend Mike Baldwin show up, who I want to see what he thinks about all this stuff, but I also want to go through a couple of choice reels that I think he would like and that you would like. And then we're going to end the show by doing some Mad Libs, because it's Thursday. And we're not going to talk about war all week. We're going to go deeper into other things that are interesting. Okay? Plenty of opportunities for jokes, too. So here's the thing I thought was really interesting that this popped up. So I was... what I really appreciate about the school, the enrichment program that Aurora goes to, is involved in her teacher reached out to Lauren and I, and that was the other day, and told us everything that she was planning for the spring term. She does that with all the kids in the and all their parents in the program. 2 of her own children are in there too. We're very, very lucky, very lucky. And it's been incredible so far. And this was a really great thing. So premiering what was going to be learned about in the spring, said, hey, listen, because it's Montessori, so there's no standardized path for reading and for math or anything like that. That's really just very individualized. But there are group study and group activities there. And in this spring term, some of the group study is going to be planned around. They usually pick a different geographical part of the world. So like they spent time looking at the Arctic and the Antarctic not too long ago. Over, last fall, all the kids were able to pick a continent of their own. Aurora was Europe. She got to do a presentation about Europe and all that stuff. It was really awesome. And, but this year, this spring, her teacher was like, I want to be able to do, I forgot what part of the world they were going to do, but she wanted to teach the kids a little bit about the solar system, which Aurora loved to hear because Aurora loves reading about the planets and all that. But the interesting thing was that her teacher said, what I wanted to ask you guys about was if you had any objections as to how I should approach talking about the moon and the moon landing in particular. I said, wow. What a great thing to ask. I thought that was such an interesting thing to ask. And I said, well, listen, because she knows what I do. I don't know how well she knows what I do, but people start getting surprised. The people are surprised at when they actually watch the show, they're surprised because I'm not like, I'm not the actually guy with the beer, with the IPA at the party. I'm not the actually guy. If we get into it, we get into it. But it's usually just, I don't know. It's not, people don't know. I always told the kids that I had on my Little League teams that I was coaching, like, Coach, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm Batman. I said, you only know my Bruce Wayne life. I'm Batman. And then, of course, some of them started finding me once they graduated out of Little League and they started moving up into JV and all that stuff. Coach, we found your show. I said, you did you? You nosy son of a bitch. Anyway, she wanted to make sure, this is what she said. I actually wrote it down. I had to write something down here. She said she wanted to make sure that there was always an appropriate line between home conversations and school conversations, that's great. I don't want to be the reason the children have to unlearn so many things later on in life. I feel like I am unlearning so much stuff now from my public school education. And so much is new to me since 2020 alone. I'm still a newbie at spotting lies and propaganda and shit like that. And I thought that was so awesome. Like I said, the whole situation is great. And I'm fine. Last night we were talking about white pills. Like, what's your AI white pill? We would talk about what's your Iran conflict war white pill. What's the silver lining there? If you feel like this is an irredeemable situation in Iran, if you can expand your mind and project what might be a silver lining, like all the silver linings we really couldn't see when we were being thrust into 2020, the middle of 2020 and COVID and the lockdowns, but we came out of 2020 with a barreling toward a completely new media landscape, and of course, probably the only reason why Aurora has this incredible educational and social situation to complement what our homeschooling a plan for her is because of those great awakenings in how institutions work, whose best interest they really have, coercion, medical coercion, the complete upending of what the average curriculum is in schools all over the country, and how really it doesn't get a person ready for the outside world. So when it came, I just thought that it was interesting. Out of all the things, like for example, she says, also this spring they're going to be learning about the solar system. We're going to another part of the world over here geographically. Also, they're going to be learning about Easter, but she specified it's going to be with a concentration on Jesus instead of the Easter bunny kind of Easter. I said, this is wonderful. But the moon landing. Now, I'm fine. I want to see what you guys think about this. So you can call in about deathbed confessions. You can call in about non-human encounters. And then also about certain things like this. I said, honestly, I'm totally fine with official stories like the moon landing being taught as baseline programming one day for understanding where the average people you live around come from. I wouldn't go too crazy into. I would talk about space program and the missions to go to the moon in 1969, the Apollo program, the Saturn V. If it's too young to tell them about Werner von Braun's, you don't have to tell them he's a Nazi. Then you have to say, oh, what's a Nazi? Do you have to go into that shit with 5-year-olds? No, I understand that. But I see, the way I see it is, I mean, you have to understand, if you're going to survive in the world, you have to understand, you have to get the base programming that most people around you are going to be operating on. If you don't understand that, then you are missing a very critical layer of information that could be used for self-preservation reasons, and just knowing how to read the room and who's ready for what, and how to make yourself not stand out like a sore thumb if you're in a situation that requires a little bit more subtlety. When we're talking about, you're talking about invasion of the body snatchers over here. Sorry, but you just need a little bit of that as a self-defense. And like September 11, 2001, for example, no matter how you slice it, we lived through horrendous acts of terrorism that day. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 that brought down the towers, that took down one of the 5 walls of the Pentagon and left a skid mark in Pennsylvania. It was part of an incredible act of terrorism that changed the world forever. No doubt about it. But those red pill layers, I really think that laying those down as somebody grows, for no other reason than it keeps them safer longer. I think so. I don't think that Aurora needs to be taught about dancing Israelis first and foremost, but I think this gets filed in the COVID white pill category. I think that was really great. So What do you think about that? 914-200-0269. I got a whole bunch of stuff for you guys to answer. There's a lot of you out there watching. So if you call up right now, 914-200-0269, you've got deathbed confessions. Have you ever been around for one? Do you want to give one? That's spooky. Then if we have non-human encounters, especially if you are from Ohio right now and you know that these big stinky apes are running around, tell me where the hell you saw them last. And then number 3, the whole idea of official stories. As far official stories of things like the moon landing, which tie into deathbed confessions, being a part of baseline programming for just understanding the people around you. Let's take a call. 609, you're on the air first. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Frank? It's Adrian from Rise.
Hello. Oh, what's going on, Adrian? Adrian from Rise. Everybody, as you all know, Adrian from Rise. Rise has created an incredible line of, quite frankly, t-shirts that I do not plug enough. We've added, actually, in the last 6 months or so, Adrian, we've added 3 new fantastic shirts. 2 of them are Matt-themed shirts. There's the Goodfellas. There's the Matt's Cryptid removal, which actually ties into tonight. And then there is the King 40 one. There's so many great shirts on the merch section, made and printed by Adrian, mostly designed by Adrian, but a couple others that have been done by the audience. Thank you again for that, sir. All right, what's on your mind?
Of course, man. Yeah, the Matt's Cryptid removal is my favorite, and it's related to why I'm calling. So I'm not a Bigfoot experiencer myself, but I consider myself a Sasquatch connoisseur. It's what I study when I'm like trying to take a break from conspiracy theories. I like just dig into cryptid stuff. Yeah. And it's I've listened to thousands of accounts. So I could speak on it with a little bit of I don't know, authority, for lack of a better word. But so I was listening to the Smarmy AI take on why Bigfoot couldn't be real, and I just jotted down all the points he made, and I have quick retorts to each one of them if you want to hear them.
Please go ahead.
All right. So the thing about Bigfoot, first of all, just to say, is that like there's this huge paranormal aspect to it, and it really can't be ignored. Anyone who studies it like seriously, it's where you end up at, like in your conclusions. Even like David Paulides just put out his new film, The Missing 411, and it's all about paranormal Bigfoot. And there's just way too many like highly credible accounts of them doing incredible things that like defy physics and defy all reason. So, but you know, anyone who doesn't believe in Bigfoot, you wouldn't be able to convince them that they had paranormal abilities, you know what I mean? Let alone that, you know, they even exist in the first place. So it's kind of a moot point, but just putting that out there, because that answers a few of those. But the first thing is like trail cams. So they can see at night. They have apparently like the ability to see in infrared. And the thing with trail cams is that they give off a light signature that can be picked up and seen on infrared. So I would imagine that they can see those trail cams pretty easily. And that's why they're able to avoid them so well. And when they do get picked up on them, you know, when someone's like dealing with a pack of these things, or a family around their house that's like harassing them, and there's like, they've seen them, they've made visual eye contact, and they're unmistakable. You're talking about 1,000-pound creature who's like typically 8 to 9 feet tall. There's really no mistaking it for anything else. And you get them on a trail cam, and it's like a big white light. It's like you can't even see them. It's like it'll even like draw the battery out of a camera. So that goes back to the paranormal abilities. Well, the second thing is like
there's also a little bit of a lead into some people's stories and excuses. I would say explanations as to why, for so many years, aside from the fact that consumer grade cameras and, you know, photographic equipment and all that stuff that's kept at home, or those first generation phone cameras, why we weren't ever able to get some sort of really, really clear footage of a UFO, something that is obviously not a plane, a helicopter, that is at the very least some unreleased kind of technology. And what people said was that even today, when we don't get the most clear images, why is that? And they say, well, perhaps, most likely, whatever kind of tech they are running, propulsion technology they are running, is actually distorting time, space around it, something that is going to actually blur its ability to be picked up clearly on the camera or videotape or something like that. So you hear similar things to excuse why we very rarely get any clear footage of unidentified flying objects too.
Yeah, not to mention when someone has a face-to-face encounter with these things, like you're talking about serious traumatic experiences or profound experiences, and like the last thing they're doing is going to reach for their phone, at least like not until it's too late. But I mean, if you had satellite images, that's the other thing they said. They should have satellite images. That's retarded, first of all. Like, how would you even know that?
Yeah.
You were looking at a Sasquatch in an image taken from a satellite. That's dumb as hell.
No, that's ridiculous just on its face, because you're talking about, okay, well, why would a satellite be trained on woods looking for movement? What are you going to? That's ridiculous. It's one thing to say, hey, we have a parked car somewhere over here. We need a license plate. Can you tell us that it's Khomeini's car, right, or something? Okay, give me one more, Adrian, so we can get some more calls before Mike Baldwin shows up.
Sure. So the audio, why isn't there audio? He was talking about like being able to record a whale from halfway across the world. I mean, you can record whales because, first of all, sound travels through water like 10 times as well as it does through the air. But even so, we do have all kinds of recordings of these things. And, you know, people who are specialists in analyzing audio have determined that there's no way this could have come from an animal or from a human of known record. Things like the Sierra Sounds, the Ohio Howl, all kinds of like recordings done in New Hampshire and Ohio, like all over the place, Texas, the Pacific Northwest. And it's happening all the time. The internet is covered in these recordings. And the problem is people who don't believe it, they'll hear it and they'll be like, you know.
Sometimes
it's just, you can't, sometimes some people don't want to be convinced. They consider themselves experts on the unknown.
Perhaps that's just could be what it is. Sometimes the extraordinary shows up as mundane, and you just you can't bring yourself to see it that way, because you expect the entire thing to show up with sparkles and sequins and bells and whistles. Thank you for the call, Adrian, and thank you for everything you do for the show.
One last thing I want to say is that anyone just go check out the podcast Sasquatch Chronicles, and you listen to some of these people and you hear the PTSD in their voice, and you listen to their accounts and you just know they're telling the truth.
All right.
I would encourage anyone to check that out.
Do me email the people from Sasquatch Chronicles. Tell them to come on the show, okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right, man.
I have ability to get in touch with them.
All right.
I will.
I'll talk to you soon. Take care. There you go. Check out all of the Quite Frankly. Tonight would be a great night to go and grab yourself a Matt's Cryptid Removal shirt over there on the merch drop down at quitefrankly.tv. It's fantastic. Let's take a call. Maria, you there?
Tell them to come on the show, okay? Yes, Frank. Let me turn down the sound.
Okay.
Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Well, I've got it's a 3-entity in one day thing. I was at a pawn shop, and my friends, and they were across the street from the bar I worked at. I was a karaoke jockey, and so I went in there to try on a pair of chaps to get on a motorcycle ride and go riding, and I ended up having to go in the center of, you know how the racks are round sometimes.
Yeah.
In a pawn shop, they were old racks, and I had to go inside the rack because there was this old man, and he wasn't really there. He was like an apparition watching me try on these chaps.
Wait, so you, when you say there's an old man, but he wasn't really there, so you're talking about a person,
he was an apparition. I could see what he looked like. I could see what he was wearing. He was wearing a plaid button-down shirt and, just jeans. And his pants were high waters. I could tell they were high waters. And he was peeking at me because I was changing, and nobody else was in there. So I was changing, and I took off my shirt.
So, but you can see through him?
No, I couldn't see through him. No.
But how did you?
I couldn't see through him, but I couldn't see anything behind him. I could actually see him. And then after that, the little girl on the tricycle was bumping into my leg, and then some really sad, probably like about maybe a 19-year-old, 17 to 19-year-old girl. She was like a forlorn.
Well, wait, hold
girl.
on, Maria. I gotta just back up to the first one there too. So
Okay.
you're changing at a store. Your shirt is off, and you realize that you are being peeped.
I feel like I'm being watched.
Yeah, you're being peeped on, and you say, but even though there is this fully dressed human form, an old man that is there that is taking a look at you in a vulnerable position, that he's not like what you would think you can see through him kind of a thing. How did you know that he was an apparition? He was there, but he wasn't physically there.
Because after my girlfriend, her boyfriend owned the pawn shop, and she asked me if I wanted to go lay out in the bathing suit up on top of the roof, and I said sure. And so we got to talking, and her boyfriend came up, the owner, and I asked him, you guys got ghosts here or something? And they looked at each other, like both of them just turned around and looked at each other, and it was so weird. I go, what? And I got the goosebumps. Oh, I got them again just now. Oh, wow, what a trip. That was so many years ago. Anyway, so yeah, they go, who'd you see? Which one? And I go, what do you mean, which one?
Well,
are there three? And they go, yeah, there's three. What do they look like? And I said, well, there's an old man peeping on me. There's a little girl on a tricycle. She bumped into my leg. And then there's a really forlorn looking 17 to 19-year-old looking girl with dark hair and kind of like frumpy clothes. And she was wearing like pedal pushers. She looked like she was wearing pedal pushers from back in the 60s style type. Yeah. Yeah. So and it was really, it was an interesting day.
Wow. Well, thank you for that, Maria. That's something. It's one thing to collect 3 stories like that over the course of a lifetime, but to have them all very distinct characters show up in the same place around the same time is nuts.
Yeah, on the same day, all 3 of them, because I was in there for quite a long time. So I saw some chaps that I wanted to try on too. And chaps are kind of hard to get on if you've never put them on before. So motorcycle chaps,
Yeah. All right. Well,
and that's not the only. That's happened to me another time at Queen Mary too. I saw that little girl on the trike at the Queen Mary with her ball, the red ball.
Well,
prom night.
We're gonna do more of these for sure, especially on the weekend. So call in about the red ball, and thank you for right now, Maria.
Oh, thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you.
You have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. Can you imagine some ghost checking out your tits? All from different places. Okay, what's your excuse for that? Now I know that there's a lot of people out there who just are just they can't process, they don't want to process, they reject it out of hand that there's any such thing as physical, non-human, but biological aliens. They don't want to think of it. It has to be biblical. It has to be demonic. It has to be some kind of a celestial being. Something that got kicked out of heaven eons ago. What about that? Is it a demon that just innocuously continues to ride their tricycle through a convenience store for all eternity? Is that their? I mean, what's so demonic about that? What's so demonic about a horny old man that doesn't necessarily do anything but watch you change into a bathing suit? So let me know, like when it comes to that stuff, where do you go if you are not of the belief that there's any kind of biological life outside of Earth, outside of where we are right now, that can visit us and have visited us? That's something I'd like to hear about in the future. All right, let's take it. Let me go real quick to the super chats. X Irrational just sent one. X Irrational is now in the running for these 5 silver coins, and of course the Keto Brainz and this Mad Ball and the month on Jay's site. Says just resubscribed. I have 3-month baby boy at home. Almost lost my 13-and-a-half-year-old dog 2 weeks ago, but he's had surgery and recovered and is back to normal. Wow, 13-and-a-half-year-old dog. Very nice. That's an old boy. My Cocker Spaniel that died when I was I forgot, I think I was in 7th grade. She was 17. She was 17. Probably lived a year longer than she should have. She could barely walk, but nobody wanted to pull the trigger on that, literally. Very big balls, though. Just giving an update and try my luck for the silver. Always love the show, Frank. Well, thank you, X Irrational. It's great to hear from you again. Eli P says, Southwest Ohio here, Frank. Lots going on. Let me see here. Is this Eli P?
It sure is, Frank. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Okay, so you're in Southwest Ohio. I just got your super chat. What great timing. What the hell's going on? You have friends that have seen this thing or what?
Friends and myself. There's just a lot going on here, and it's everything from Bigfoot to just you hear a lot about Ohio being a hotbed for paranormal stuff, and it's not a lie.
Well, I mean, I remember in that in Missing 411, The Hunted, at the end of that one, it was the one that came before Missing 411, the UFO connection with John D'Souza, and now I think there might be another one out right now. But the Hunted is an incredible one, and I think that ended with a case from Ohio. And there was like maybe a 2 or 3 acre patch of woods that was behind this woman's house. And she talked about going into the woods and having all of the sound blot out and suddenly feel like she has been completely encapsulated in something and she was in another world, even though she was in her backyard. The sound blot out, no bugs, no birds, no nothing. And then encountering, again, just like at Skinwalker Ranch, some kind of a translucent, swinging from tree to tree, kind of a predator thing that she actually got away from. And
yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up. Yeah.
Okay, so what have you seen recently? Go ahead.
Well, just a little bit of background. Not even 2 miles from my house, there's a Indian, what they call a signal mound. But we've done some research with local historians that aren't named, but they know a lot. And it turns out that it was an actual burial mound, and apparently they sent some 12-foot skeletons to the Smithsonian, and everything is you're not going to find it in the history book because they won't let it. But anyway, tied to not just paranormal and translucent beings and things, a lot of people go straight to aliens or extraterrestrials or like interdimensional beings. But people around where I live, close to this mound, it's almost common knowledge that people just talk to each other like, hey, did you see we call him the Howler, but it's nobody reports it because you don't want to be the crazy Bigfoot person. Okay, but there's times where you'll drive right past this mound and there's things on the side of the road that are no less than 10 feet tall. And the second that you make eye contact with these things, they disappear out of nowhere. I've seen it. All my neighbors have seen it. And these are people from liberals to conservatives to skeptics to people that follow this stuff. Everybody just knows it's there and nobody can deny it.
I mean, first thing I would say is, okay, well, you're describing almost like the plot for the Poltergeist movie where you're talking about burial grounds and all that other stuff. But
I think it has a lot to do with ley lines.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, I think Indians knew where they were placing mounds. They knew exactly what they were doing. And this is not far from Serpent Mound, which I would think that you might know something about Serpent Mound. And if you don't, look into it. There's a lot of electromagnetic, like if you stand on top of the mound, your compass just spins in a circle. Yeah, and that's not a theory.
I've seen
you
people
can actually go and do it.
I've seen the footage of like little girl. You know how when you send a little kid down a plastic slide or whatever, at the end their hair stands up because they build up the static electricity. I've seen videos of people standing on some of these mounds and having their hair just kind of float up magically. Yeah. So there's something to be said about that. But like I said before, it's one thing to go and watch the movie Poltergeist and say, oh, you know what, this house was built on top of an Indian burial ground, and now you're dealing with some shit that you didn't know came included with the home. But it's another thing. It's another thing to talk about the size of the figures. So what the hell does that mean? That's just like 12-foot things that are just disappearing. Are those that's nuts?
Yeah,
and some of these,
and there's well recorded documents of things that have been kind of scrubbed, but if you look hard enough, you can find them. That they excavated some very large skeletons out of this thing, and they will not let it be public. It's very weird. But the amount of energy that comes around those monuments and those mounds and it's wild. It's everything from ghostly encounters to you're seeing weird Bigfoot like characters, and there's weird smells. I've sat in my car one night, out of nowhere, my car starts shaking from left to right, and I'm like, okay, who's playing a trick on me? Because I live around a lot of my family, you know what I mean? And I get out of my car and there's nothing there, and my car is shaking, and then all of a sudden there's nobody there. Everything's quiet and everybody's in bed and not around. It's just there's a lot of unexplainable things.
Eli, last thing before we go, because maybe there's somebody else from Ohio trying to get in here. But so aside from, I want more calls like this. It sounds like the history of what you lived through is so much bigger than these headlines that are getting around right now. But as far as this recent spate of headlines is concerned, anything you can contribute to what's been seen over the last 3 days or so? Have you seen any of those, or you had anybody call you and say, hey, this stuff that's getting around in the news, I saw it and here's what I saw? Do you have any exclusives?
Not exclusives, but we have talked. I mean, we've heard about the stories. Nobody has seen anything, but it's so regular around here. We're all kind of like, oh, so the rest of the population is finally catching on, right?
Okay. Well, thank you for this, Eli. Keep us in the loop, because I can't get enough of this stuff. Thank you so much.
Hey, can I say one last thing?
Go ahead, quick.
I have 2 kids that just want to say hi, and they love you, and we listen to your show.
Oh.
Say hey, Frank.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Wait, who's this? What are their names?
This is Harper.
Hi.
Hi, Harper.
And my son, Easton, he's listened to you since I've listened to you, and man, he's probably, 8 years?
Yeah.
How old
Hi.
how old is Easton now?
11.
Oh man, you've been listening to me since you were 3?
Yeah.
Poor kid. Nothing's going to shock you. Nothing. Nothing's going to shock you now. Damn. All right. Well, listen, I hope the whole family has a good time. We should have some more fun stuff to do. I hope that MAD LIBS is not, that might be time for, it might be bedtime for everybody.
I told my stories with you outside. I walked in so they could say hi.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, yeah, it's good to talk to the whole family, and have yourself a good night.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay. Take care. See you later. All right. Let's take another call. Who's this? Jet. Hello?
Hey.
Who's this?
Hi. This is Valerie. How are you?
Valerie, it's good to hear from you. So, where are you calling from, Valerie, and what's on your mind?
I'm in California, close to Los Angeles, actually in Burbank.
Okay.
And so this is my first time calling. Very excited to talk to you. I first discovered you through the confessionals.
Ah, wow. That's fantastic. I'm still waiting for an invite to go and hang out with Tony in his wonderful studio. But I can't. That is going to be one day that I will not forget. I'm sure it'll happen sometime. And I always have him and his family in my prayers. They're wonderful people.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, praying for his wife for a speedy recovery. So the reason why I'm calling was to share with you my experience with a shadow person.
Oh boy! All right, go ahead.
So I was born in Mexico, and when I was little, I always had a shadow person, either like on the roof, looking down on me, in the hallway. It followed me all the way here to California. And up until I was about 8 years old, I always saw the shadow person. It could have been nighttime, daytime. It was always either in the hall, outside a window. And then funny enough, or maybe not, I was baptized into the Mormon church, and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and it stopped. It completely stopped for years. So
you say for years. Does that mean it started up, or it just stopped, period?
it just stopped for years until I experimented with the little substances that I hear opened up, the spiritual realm, and I started seeing it all over again.
Oh man. So okay. So what was it like? Peyote?
No, I was smoking a lot of weed, experimenting with random stuff.
Okay.
And then sleep paralysis was like a daily thing for years. It was a nightmare, a complete nightmare.
So what happened at that point? Yeah. Were you still going to your church? Had you fallen away from that?
I had.
Okay, so you fell away from the faith that you had originally credited with stopping it all, and that opened it up again. Have you since remedied the situation?
I go back and forth. So there's times where I'm dreaming and I see this shadow person in my dream, and it's kind of a weird situation where like I have a lot of lucid dreams and I know it's in my dream, and if I look at it, it kind of gets scared that I notice it's there, which is weird, right? And that happens often. The sleep paralysis has gone down. It's not like a daily thing, like back in
Do you ever leave your body at night? That sleep paralysis is, as anybody who watches this show knows, is usually that first threshold you pass through when you're about to go on a little bit of a trip.
That's something that I've wondered if that's actually happening, because I am lucid dreaming, and there's been times where I'm like dreaming in a dream and I'm aware that I'm dreaming in that other dream, and then I'll wake up in the dream and still be aware that I'm still dreaming. So I'm wondering like if there's any truth to this whole multi-dimensional, like we're in different realms when we're sleeping. But yeah,
there could
definitely weird stuff.
There could be. You just described some that's like a scene out of Inception right there. Well, thank you for that, because you know what? It's been a while since we did a Shadow People episode. It's been a while since we had an episode with people's talks about rakes. Also, there's skinwalkers. The other one that is exceptionally scary to me are the children with black eyes, the blacked out eyes. Yeah, no, those encounters with children with blacked out eyes are messed up. And I would consider them all in the category of non-human encounters. So thank you for this. And of
course,
yeah, very interesting your journey so far. I would love to hear more input from you over the next, I don't know, however many years of the show when we dip back into this.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be calling back in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I thought I was going to be like, at the end. So did you remedy the situation? That point, I really was expecting her to say, at this point, we're just kind of friends. Like me and the Shadow People, I'm not scared of them anymore. They've just been around so much. They're all kind of okay with me. We just hang out. Play a little gin rummy. I played gin rummy with my shadow person last night. They're really nice. Don't know why I was so afraid of all these years. Let's get to some super chats before we take some more calls. I don't want to be behind the 8 ball when Mike calls in a little bit. Mike, I hope you're taking notes. Love to hear what he has to say. X Irrational again says, Bills, Frank, very big bills. He's a pug, by the way. Wow. A 14-year-old pug? I didn't know that they lived that long, to be honest. Hopefully he's got a couple more years in him. To watch JC grow up. I think he'll be his favorite. No doubt. Aurora and Lila have just started to bond. It's really something else. Because, Lila was so guarded and, rare. Get away from me, rare. Don't touch me, rare. There's a lot. She has all different types of voices, because sometimes she's a soft voice, and then she has a scraggly voice. I can't do it. I'll do it later. I'll film it sometime. She's getting weird in her old age. She's like kind of getting nicer. Like how my grandmother was getting when she started getting really, really old. My grandmother got very nice toward the end. She was actually quite sweet. Let's see here. HR Lass says, keep up the good work, Frank. That was earlier on today. Mark the Carnivore says, here's the next day podcast super chat. Keep up the good work. DJ Bulio. Bulio. Frank, your guest list is an eclectic group. I enjoy many and have many favorites. Keep it going. I'm a third shifter also, and I have adjusted my sleep patterns, I believe. Awesome. Good to hear it. Free Dub says, sorry I couldn't make the call last night. I had to go lay some pipe. Oh, good for you. It was hump day after all. With Quite Frankly playing in the background, of course. I often wonder how many times I've been droning on in the back of somebody just getting their brains humped out or doing the humping. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Oh, man. Let's see. And thank you, Molly Artie, for I saw a last-minute super chat last night that just came in, and I didn't see it. So thank you so much. So much, Molly. And there you have it. All right. Let's see. And Nathan Davis, 1568, just became a Nugget member on YouTube. And Warrior Biatch has just gifted a Nugget membership as well. Let's see who goes and picks it up. So Nathan and whoever grabs Warrior Biatch's gift right there are now, for at least the time being, sponsors of the show. And you get to go right into the members only section right now on YouTube. You can get all the links to the Sunday streams, and that's where I post stuff, a lot of videos and a lot of other great stuff. You're going to love it. You really are going to love it. If you get gifted, I think you're going to come back. Okay. All right, let's see. Awaken Boomer says, hi, Frank and all. I'm in it for the silver. I'll get you in there as soon once Mike is talking for a little bit. I'll just catch up on all these. I have everybody in already. Jay Semo says, here's to you, Frank. This is all on Rumble. Awaken Boomer says, actually, see, is doing the whole thing. Poso for Hope on Badlands, our wonderful friends on Badlands, says, love your show, Frank. Great to see you on Badlands. Monthly supporter of both shows. Me and Adel and Zach had a great 4 o'clock show today. We had a lot of fun. So especially if you are a Badlands fan out there, make sure you double back on that one and leave some love in the comments. Wherever you are right now, please leave a like, and we'll be on with that. Okay. One more quick call before we bring on Mike. Christine, you're on the air.
Hi, Frank. It's Christine Demi. How are you?
Demi. Oh man, is this
Hey.
This is not the first time you've called in. If it is it?
Second.
Then it's been a while. Then anyway, it's so good to hear from you. What's on your mind?
Thank you. Well, I was listening to the caller that called in with the girl with the red bike.
Yeah.
That she kept seeing, and it reminded me. I watch or listen to a podcast called The Exorcist Files.
Mm.
And it's a priest, and he explains the phenomenon, and that could be a girl that died that wants to get to heaven, but she's stuck. So she appears, and so somebody needs to pray for her and probably get a priest, because there's a story probably behind her. If she is a spirit, a ghost, according to Father, his name is Father Martins, it's a spirit that's being allowed to stay here, kind of like displaced. So
I always, I would love to, if you can, if you find like an episode of that podcast that really hits on that subject in particular, send me the link, because it's one thing that I'm really interested in. It goes back to even some of those conversations we had with our good friend, Dr.
Is it Bill Bean or
No. Why am I blanking on him right now?
Oh, the doctor that was a psychiatrist?
No. No, Doctor. What the hell? The Soul. Albert Taylor. Dr. Albert Taylor. Soul Traveler.
Yes, okay.
It even goes back to that with all of his not his personal astral travels, but his paranormal investigations, talking about just specific types of entities that he comes across, and the ones that I find really peculiar and that I would love a little bit of insight on are the ones that don't really seem very autonomous at all. And they seem like it's almost like a broken record. They're just almost like doing a monotonous motion in a loop, and that like they're not just stuck and hanging out and just waiting for the bus to arrive. You can't talk to them. They're almost like preoccupied with something. That seems like that kind of echo mentality, that echo nature of the whole thing is very interesting to me, and I'd love to get a little bit more insight on that.
Okay, I will find one for you because yes, they're doing something.
Yeah,
the person, they're like this girl. I mean, I hate to say it, she could have been hit by a car. Something happened to her, or it'll be like a man. And they'll be dressed in a different era. I don't know if I got the stories mixed up, but she might have been like in pedal pushers, or maybe that was somebody else. But they're from a different time because whatever happened to them happened at a different time.
Well, we're gonna get to the bottom of this one, Christine. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, bye, Frank.
Take care.
You too.
Yeah, I love it all. This is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Well, there's only one thing to do now. That's to call up our good friend Mike and to see what the hell he thinks about all this stuff. He has to know something. Mike is funny.com. And he has, since the last time we spoke to him, he has grown a full head of hair. It is really, really incredible. Here he is, everybody. Mike Baldwin.
I haven't grown hair. I've grown some hair.
You got some stragglers?
Yeah, I have hairs.
So do I. I can still see, if I let it all just go, which I rarely do, I can still see one or two holding down the battle lines over here. I said, wow, that's where my hairline used to be. That's
when
nuts.
did you start? Like, are you a hair on the sides guy? If you let it grow out?
If I let it grow out, no, I still have a little up top or something like that, maybe like a strip up top. I don't have any. I'm not a full George Costanza thing going on right now.
I am,
but I would have to just let it grow for weeks. I'm pretty diligent at just shaving and keeping things nice and neat. So,
but do you shave against the grain?
No,
so it's super smooth.
With the Freebird. So I have two razors. One of them is this really is this one that I've been using for a while. My sister-in-law got me for Christmas. And I loved it so much that when the first one died out, I bought myself another one that I can get it down short enough. It's like I guess you would consider it a number 1 or a 0, but it makes it short enough so that when you take that Freebird that has the 5 rotating blades on it, then you can just go in circles and all that other stuff, and it really polishes it up nice. But anybody who uses that, you can't. You have to be down to stubble for it to work well, or else you're sitting there forever. So
I Mach 3 mine, and I do it about every 7 days approximately. And I only know that because I use the Hindsight app. So every time I shave my head, I add an occurrence into the Hindsight app. So then I can look back and be like, how often do I shave my head? And so anyway, yeah, I've let it go for, I think, 7 or 8 months at one point. And I don't know. Like, as a comedian, all my comedy friends are like, grow it out, dude. It's hilarious. And I'm like, but I don't want that the other 90% of my life,
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you commit to that just because you know that it'll create some sort of a reaction when you're on stage, because your appearance automatically becomes, I don't know, there's just a goofy appearance to it. Like when Devin Townsend of Strapping Young Lad goes with the full skullet and he grows all this down, but he's got nothing up top and he looks like a mad scientist. It's funny. It's obviously ironic. You know, where some people just, want to be the best, kind of well put together on stage or something. You're actually committing to going completely unkempt. And it's one of those things where it's not a costume that you put on. You have to live with that when you go to the bank the next day. And it's when you're making your meatloaf alone in the kitchen. So it's just you and the hair. So I know why you would want to say, nah, that's too much of a commitment.
And it's the same, I assume, that girls with boobs feel, because people will look at you and then you'll see them look up at your head and then back to your eyes again. And you want to stop them and go, hey, right here, buddy.
Exactly. Exactly. We've got some good people in all the chat rooms that are already having a good time. So, hey, before we move on to some things, to some reels, some other stuff, I don't know. You're usually sitting back and watching at least a portion of the show before you come on. What has stimulated you tonight?
Well, I love thinking about whether or not we really went to the moon. And because they say that they're working on setting up a trip right now. So going to the moon now, I think, would prove, like, yeah, we've probably been there before. They seem to know what they're doing. But they could also, that the technology is so much better nowadays that they could totally fake another better moon landing, and we would all the same idiots would buy it, So I don't know. And I've never seen a ghost. I did see a picture frame float one time, but I was also on drugs, so I can't verify that that's true. Another time that I was on drugs, I got up from my friend's couch and looked in his refrigerator without physically moving, but I was able to recall what he had in his refrigerator.
Whoa.
But there's also an equal chance that I did physically get up and look in the refrigerator and was just on drugs and was like, dude, I didn't even get up. And I was able to know what was in there. So, I heard somebody once say, if you've ever seen a ghost, you're either lying or you're mistaken. And that's kind of the way I've felt about it my whole life. Anytime somebody's like, no, I seen one, dude. And it's like, well, I believe that you did. But also, a lot of things can go on inside this brain of yours.
Yeah. That's a really good point to bring up regarding a lot of things. It's pretty easy to tell, and it does give you some kind of a better foundation to work with when you can tell that a person is telling you the truth, that they had an experience, they're not trying to deceive you, that perhaps they, through one thing or another, one way or another, they have misconstrued what happened to them, or they weren't able to really conceive of the fullness of what happened to them, but they're not trying to deceive you, and they just have been through something real. Now, from there, I don't know. I'm not that good of a detective. You got to find a way to try to piece together what could have happened. If it was some kind of phenomenon in the sky or something you saw inside or something. I don't know how you can see a beer can, an empty beer can, levitate and float across the room. And what was that? The wind? Whenever I hear levitation stories, I'm like, all right, well, what happened? What happened here? So I don't know. You're right. Somebody being honest about something they experienced and them having complete understanding of what actually happened to them are two different things that they need to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like I was sitting there with my prankster brother. We both saw it. It's like, do you think maybe the prankster brother tied a little fishing line to that can and had a good laugh at your expense?
Speaking
and
of,
you've been telling a ghost story for the last 25 years. He's like, I ain't never gonna say anything,
dude. I've seen the fishing line pranks happen on these Instagram videos where somebody will be, and some of you can tell when somebody is acting and the whole thing has been staged for reaction. But you can also see when some people have been set up very cleverly where a doll or something falls over and then it just kind of like hops across the room, and then the person in the room that has just been cornered.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Yeah.
that would happen to my wife. If I thought very carefully about how I was going to do this, I'm sure that I can make Lauren run out of the room. And so actually,
if I saw that, step one would be walk up to it and feel all around it. Are there fucking wires attached to this? Who's doing this?
I know. Some people, if the first thing they consider is that this is this doll is possessed, the last thing they want to do is come in contact with it. Like it's been transformed at that point. I don't want to touch it. All right. Well, you and I, we usually build up a lot of reels together. We have a few that we have deposited jointly. Then there's some others that I grabbed for you that I just want your opinion on. And then I would love to get in. Lauren just texted me. She said, "Do not ever." So she's watching. Anyway,
but I agree with her though. I don't like to be scared. A thing that I've seen more than one of recently are people on Instagram. They're walking down the sidewalk. Another group of people is walking the other direction, and they go "boo" and scare the people, and then they turn to the camera and it freezes, and it makes like an album cover sort of thing with them just posing and three people going "oh." So I don't like stuff like that. And because I did that when I was younger, when we were in high school during our jackass days or whatever, we would go to like J.C. Penney's and like hide in the clothes rack and wait for an innocent old lady to come up flipping through clothes, and we'd be like, "Bah!"
I would just do that to scare my mother and my grandmother. It wasn't strangers, but I remember going to Caldor and JCPenney and Macy's and those circular clothes racks. I don't know, maybe they're still out there somewhere. I haven't seen them in a while, but that was such an incredible sight to see as a kid. I was just like, I'm going in the middle of that thing, and I'm just going to be cozy in there for a little while. And I remember hiding in the middle of a coat rack while my mother and my grandmother frantically looked all over for me. Like
You're just giggling.
Where did he go? And then I pop out of the clothes rack and I get reprimanded, and I realize it didn't go over too well, but it was very cozy in there. And I hope that there still are circular coat racks for kids to understand their glory.
I hope so too.
Okay, well, here's the first one I got. It's just a still image, but for some reason it reminded me of you. It's a gnome, and it says, "I'm sorry for acting strange. I am strange, and it will happen again."
Yep, that's funny.
All right, so anyway, there's that first one. Secondly, okay, these kids, they've been infiltrating Zoom meetings. I found one I think you'd like. Sometimes they pop into Zoom meetings and they quickly go and take a screenshot of somebody else that's in the Zoom meeting, and they put them as quickly as possible as the background of their Zoom call, or they will find a way to show their phone to the screen, like to show the time or something, and suddenly somebody in the Zoom call will be the screensaver of their phone. And they do this to people to kind of throw them off, and I love it.
Introduce yourself quickly to the group.
Hey group, I'm San Juan.
And you're interested in investing in real estate?
Correct.
I'm just curious, what time is it for you guys?
We're in Austin Central Time. It's 7:30.
So is that guy in the middle obviously is the target. He says, what's your time over there in Central Time? And here you go.
PM. How about you, Derek?
Right now it's 7:30 a.m. for
awesome. Where are you coming from? San Juan, are you actually here for real estate?
No, look at this dude.
And it always ends up with them getting removed.
I saw. I don't remember when you did the show, but I saw the one where the kid was like saying something about somebody's dog. Like, can you not talk about your dog anymore? I don't remember exactly what they said. But
he didn't want to see the dog. The dog, somebody's dog made an appearance on the stream, and they just they chose that to hyperfixate on it. Please, I don't think they should have their dog here, and they just kept making context about it until it just spiraled out of control.
And the lady running it was like, all right, that's enough. No more talking. But then the victim lady was like, wait, what's wrong with my dog?
Exactly. You know, and the reason why I said that this reminds me of high school. And the reason why it reminds me of high school is because we would do things that I hope kids are still doing today, where a slow buildup, for example, to craziness. One person will cough. It'll be agreed upon in the lunchroom. We're going to our first period after lunch. It's going to be like when the clock strikes 1:47, somebody cough. And then after that cough, 3 seconds later, there'll be another cough from the other side of the room. And this starts gradually building up. The teacher starts catching on to it maybe about a minute in, and you risk whole class detention, but for the memory, sometimes it's worth it. Where toward the end, everybody is uncontrollably hacking at the same time. 20 kids are hacking, coughing at the same time, and it's ridiculous and juvenile, but it's fantastic. I remember that those are my favorite memories of high school.
Yeah, those 3 words describe a lot of high school. Ridiculous, juvenile, and fantastic.
Okay, here's another one. Juvenile, I got another great clip from Arc Raiders gameplay. I just love how people just treat all of their injuries and stuff like that as if it's actually happening. Here it is, another one who is screaming for help as he's firebombed by a giant robot in the game. Here we go. I can't. Somebody. You couldn't hear it?
No.
You didn't hear that?
Zoom, man. I don't know what the deal is. Something like speaking, I can hear. Any music or yelling or anything like that, it just doesn't come through. I don't know why.
The screaming, somebody help us, as you're getting firebombed. Just knowing that somebody is in their den or in their bedroom screaming, and there might be other people home, and you hear that coming from a bedroom. Somebody help us!
Or somebody in the apartment next door wondering if they should call the police or not.
This one reminded me of you as well, and me. When you're so cooked that you start spending your free time like this.
What's he doing? Just nothing?
Just
That's how I spend my free time.
It's Al Pacino, yeah. And he's just staring blankly as the birds tweet around him, and he's just looking off.
That gives me nostalgia, though, too, because that reminds me of a day when you didn't have phones or anything else, and you were forced to just sit. If you had to kill time or whatever, you had to wait for something, you would just sit and just think.
I'm with you. Well,
people don't do that so much anymore.
You want to talk about nostalgia and going back. What about a lost future? This next reel is about what people thought their 30s would be like versus how they ended up. Here it is.
Well, honey, with the bonus I made this year, looks like we got a good head start in our kids' college fund. Future is bright.
Hey, chat, how far away from a nuclear bomb do you have to be to survive the blast radius?
Hey, that's a serious one.
the face lit up by the phone is on full brightness. That's the best. Okay. He thought he was gonna have a loving family. That's awful. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
That one, I liked that one.
Yeah, me too. Now here is for some reason not for some reason, because I keep liking it. I keep getting really bad scenes from porno movies. Obviously not the actual porn, but just the really bad setups. And this one is so damn intriguing. It is the setting is on a crashing plane. The plane is going down, and apparently the only way to stabilize the plane is to drop weight immediately. And I'm just going to play this for you because it's chaotic scene. I promise everybody, it is. There's nothing to worry about here. Take a look at this. Oh, wait a second. You're not going to be able to hear this.
I didn't hear that for the second that you played it, but you already built it up to the audience. You might as well play it.
Okay. All right. Damn it. All right, here we go.
What's happening?
No.
We lost an engine. We have too much cargo. Listen, we need to unload all unnecessary cargo. Give me your bags. Give me your bags.
She has the bag. She has to get the cargo off the plane.
I heard her voice.
There she goes.
I can't hear anything else.
Oh, there. She just opened up the plane door at cruising altitude, mind you. She's throwing the bags out the door.
Tossing them out.
She's a hero in my book. Close it. She's able. Oh, she was able to close it.
That's not enough. What else do we have?
That's all there is. There's nothing left.
But the plane's still 400 pounds overweight. We need to lose 400 pounds quick. But what else can we toss out?
Oh! You okay, but serious?
Look, it's either you or all of us.
That's it. They have to throw him out. I don't know where the hell this goes. I actually want to know how this all ends.
I don't know what my mind does exactly, but I was like, my first thought was 400 pounds of cum.
Well, I listen, the obvious thing there was I was a little disappointed that the whole dropping loads line wasn't really capitalized on. That was chaotic and incredible. Here's somebody for you. One last one because I don't know how we're going to get through. I don't know how we're going to be able to get through a Mad Libs, but you sent this over to me.
Uh-oh.
You sent this over to me. This is the time traveler. The guy travels through time, and he went back in time to kill a very, very nasty individual from history to make sure.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I sent you this one.
I know.
Okay.
So
you
here,
held on to it.
I held on to it for this night, and of course, it also keeps passing through my timeline every once in a while. So let's see how this goes. He goes back in time to kill a dictator.
Oh, what the f***, dude? Where'd you just come from? I'm a time traveler, okay? Be cool. I just got back from the past. I went back and I killed that son of a bitch, Hans Sprechter, right in his crib.
Hans Sprechter?
Yeah. Oh, right, you don't know. Because I killed him. That makes sense. Hans Sprechter was an infamous German dictator in the 1940s. He killed, brace yourself, over 500 Jews. Oh, no. You're in shock.
Well,
I know what you're thinking. How could anybody have done such a mindless atrocity? I've asked myself that many times.
No, okay, so there was this guy, right? Different guy.
Don't tell me that somebody stepped into the power vacuum I left behind by killing Hans Sprechter.
You've heard of Adolf Hitler?
Oh, no.
Can you use the time machine again?
It was a one-use only time machine.
That seems short-sighted. You're responsible for this?
No. I just need to think.
You just said that
500 seemed like a lot of Jews.
It's barely any!
Okay, well, everybody always said that if they had a time machine, the first thing they would do is go back and kill Hans Sprechter in its crib. So we finally got the technology.
You up big time, dude. Whoa.
No.
It's barely any. Well, yeah, 500 compared. Yeah, I guess
that guy there, that's Joe Nunnick. We did a comedy together in Kansas City. That's where he started as well.
Dude, well, listen, if you, I see him over here at Joe Nunnick. We should get him on the show sometime.
You should. Yeah, he's got a lot of sketches and stuff, and a lot of them are really funny.
Well, I think it's fantastic what we have going on over here. It really is. Now, I have one. I would love to do some Mad Libs with you if you wouldn't mind.
I'll do a Mad Lib.
And everybody, I think that you all should help us out. Now, if you don't remember, the first and only time that we did it on this show was with Mike Baldwin over here.
I'm the Mad Lib guy.
And I have picked a story for us to do. Chats, this is where you shine, and we got to get this out quick. Now, I picked a story that is actually kind of shorter. We don't need as many words. It should be good. Okay? The story that we are going to do is called The Knight and the Dragon. And now I need everybody to start throwing down. The first thing we need is one noun. That, of course, is a person, a place, or a thing. So a milk carton, a filing cabinet, a horseshoe. What are we going to put in there, ladies and gentlemen? Mike, we'll start off with you. And ladies and gentlemen, we can do in the chat room, throw out to me 2 abstract nouns, okay? That's things like arrogance, bravery, things that you can't see, okay? Mike, give me a thing.
Just a regular old noun? Any person, place, or thing?
Yes.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Okay. Let's see. Joe Biden is there. 2 abstract nouns, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get them. 2 abstract nouns. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Where the hell's my the chat room? Here it is. My bad, ladies and gents. My bad. Hold on. Chat room is in there. Narcissism, transcendence, brave determination. Let's see. I'm going to say, how about, all right, we have a few more. I'm reading the chat, see what's coming in. Crazy. Incontinence. If you already brought up Joe Biden.
I feel like that's altering people's suggestions.
Incontinence. All right, so there's one. We need one more abstract noun. Vehemence over there on Badlands.
I don't even know what that means.
Transgender. Retardation. The obvious. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's say
taking the first one away and keeping retarded and trans.
How about terminal retardation? Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 9 adjectives, everybody. Those are things that describe nouns. So like cold, mushy,
slippery.
It's okay. Let's go. Adjectives, everybody. Things that describe nouns. Pathetic.
Does shaven count as an adjective?
Yes, I think so. Shaven, pathetic. I like pathetic for some reason. Keep dropping them in there, everybody. I'm gonna be reading through them. Moist. Lauren loves that. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me see. Shaven is the first one. Shaven, pathetic. Limp. Let's do that. Let's do limp. Cloud covered, waxed, charred, wormy.
Shaven and waxed?
Waxed.
Somebody's wasting time.
That's not the same person. Slovenly, cushy, smurfing, aromatic, twisted, insane, clueless. How about fucking clueless?
Acceptable.
It is, if you ask me. Fucking clueless. I did a separate Mad Libs with everybody on the flip side one night, and we got even worse with things, and it was a lot of fun. Let me see. All right, we need more adjectives. Let's keep going. Floppy, I'm on the Badlands again. Floppy, mildewed, smoked, humped, shaky, putrid, dried, limp. There's something coming here.
Is American an adjective?
Yeah, it is.
In a certain context, at least?
Yeah, I guess hold on, let's just see. Soggy. We're putting that one in. Pungent, repulsive, unnerving, quivering, sultry,
distasteful,
quivering sounds pretty good.
That always reminds me, was it Naked Gun 33 1/3, where he was reading the like romance novel or whatever, and the British guy, he thrust his purple-headed warrior into her quivering mound of love pudding.
Yes, I think so. How about this? How about embarrassingly gay?
Yeah, that's way worse than regular gay.
Distasteful, quivering. I feel like there has to be something else. Limp. Hold on. Limp dickedly. Now, I'm going to put that back to amend the limp. Limp dickedly, fucking clueless, soggy, quivering, distasteful, embarrassingly gay. I need one more adjective, then we're on to adverbs. This is moving along nicely. One more.
Unpassingly transgender.
Unpassing I guess that would be it.
I don't.
Hold on. Unpassing transgender squirting. Squirting is good.
Squirting is a verb, isn't it?
Squirtly.
Okay.
Squirtly. Okay,
that sounds like a nickname for a young child.
Very squirtly.
Come here, squirtly.
Okay, 3 adverbs, everybody. So these things are, how you describe a verb. So if you're going to do something nastily or whimsically, jokingly. Let's see here.
What are they suggesting?
They give you accidentally, cleverly, greedily. I'm trying to think.
Greedily reminds me of Norm Macdonald's joke about being proud that your son is gay. He's like, look at this picture here. My son plays basketball, also loves cock.
How about flamboyantly then? Flamboyantly. Listen, we're gonna get a few more in here. Doing well. Gaily, lesbianly, laughingly. Okay, fine. You win. Lesbianly. Very lesbianly of her. Okay, one last one. One last adverb, then we're on to more. Moronically. That's not a word. It's okay. We can make up words. Words.
What do you think? We're delivering these to the government or something?
I will.
They won't accept that.
I will. Okay.
Dear Mr. Trump.
Please read this in your next State of the Union. Adverb. One more, guys. Ashamedly, succulently. Oh, yes. Yes. A succulent Chinese meal. Succulently. Okay, I need 4 past tense transitive verbs. That is lifted, condemned,
banged.
I was gonna say, okay, banged.
Or I like a different version of that, bung, which is not a real word, but I feel like that's a good past tense of bang. I bunged this girl this one time, and all right.
Bung. Oh, he was great. He was great. Oh, he bunged. He bunged me bad. Let's see. What is this? Let's see. Banged. There's a few good ones that are coming out here. Confined, despised, shamed, eaten, buggered, curmudgeoned. Curmudgeoned is pretty good. Bludgeoned.
I'm not even sure what that means.
How about bludgeoned? Let's see.
Use them both.
No, that's the verb though. Curmudgeonly. curmudgeonly bludgeoned. Let's just see what's going on in the other chat rooms. Come on now. Defecated, butt plugged. There we have it. No, wait, that's a verb. That's a verb. Remember that.
Butt pluggedly.
Yes. Yes. That's what. As long as we have a root word, butt pluggedly.
You can just add ly to anything and it becomes an adverb. Is that how
yes
English works?
He painted this room in a butt pluggedly distasteful manner. Let me see. One more. That was fantastic. Spazzed, pancaked. Let me see. Curbed, moistened. Moistened is a verb. We're going to get to the verbs next, I think. Let's see. One last. Let's do past tense. Actually, no. This is a verb. It's just past tense. Why do I keep thinking about that? I'm still thinking about adverbs. Son of a bitch. So butt plugged it wouldn't be butt pluggedly. It would be butt plugged.
Well, that's still fine, I suppose.
Okay, and then we can also put bludgeoned. I'm sorry, everybody. I completely missed. Probably like, Frank, you're not understanding.
I'm not 100% sure what's going on, so it's golden.
Okay, a transitive, a present tense transitive verb like so, to grope, to ridicule, molest. We already put Joe Biden in there. We might as well go for the full goat. Let's see here. The past tense, intransitive verb. That means plummeted, flirted, juggled, waddled, sniffled, gurgled. Gurgled's funny. Gurgled. Blood orgied. In the woods. Blood orgy in the woods. Remember that one from South Park? No, I'll come with two more past tense and transitive verbs. Circle jerked. Wow. Good job. Good job, guys. See? I'm surrounded by my kin. Circle jerked. One more. You guys got it. Then we need an animal, a dwelling. Oh, God. This is not going to be good. This is getting weird. Deboweled. Fondled.
Yeah.
Smeared. Flapped. Charged.
I would rather be all of those things than deboweled.
Yeah, what about jiggled, canoodled?
My friend Jiggles is the one who came up with the word bung.
Well, what about queefed?
That's a thing.
Perfect. Okay, give me an animal, everybody. An animal, and then I need a dwelling, like a townhouse, a cottage, something like that. I need geographical terrain. I will say
animal, Canadian goose.
I'm going to say a deep animal Canadian goose. We'll see what people say, but I'll put goose down for a second. Geographical terrain. I'll say a deep slimy gorge. How about that? Okay, let me see what people are saying here. A baboon. I like that. A baboon.
I like baboon.
A bonobo. How about that? Hold on a second. We could get through this. A baboon. Let me see what the dwelling is. Are you looking at the chat rooms right now? Can you tell me what people are saying for dwelling?
I'm looking for the chat rooms right now.
A swamp. People are
I
saying.
haven't successfully found anything yet.
Let me see. Platypus. A castle. A cliff.
Mud hut. Rumble.
A mud hut. Let me see. A
desert, castle, cliff, badlands, villa, casa. A lot of people spelling platypus wrong.
Okay, everybody, give me two body parts. I'm going to put down for dwelling. I'm going to put down for dwelling a dick, a coffin,
a she shed,
I'm gonna put down some kind of a coffin. I'm gonna put a coffin. I sleep in it's all I can afford. I sleep in a coffin every night. Body part. Give me 2 body parts. We're almost there. Arms and legs.
Nice.
Orifice, porta potty, longhouse. Still talking about a toenail, an armpit, head and knees, belly button, Achilles heel.
Oh, are we both looking at Rumble?
No, let me look. A foot and a finger, a gooch.
Is that the taint? Is that the gooch?
I think so. I'm going to put a gooch. Yeah, a gooch and a how about a disgusting armpit? A mangled arm. A mangled arm. There you go. A time period, like a second, a minute. Let's say a decade.
Is that what it's asking, or is it asking like the Renaissance? Or...
No. It's actually like a little century. We can put a century. Let's put a century down.
According to artificial intelligence, a gooch is no different from a taint.
Okay, good. So then we got that. It is the no man's land between the balls and the butthole. All right, let's see. Give me an emotion. Sad, jealous, nervous, filled with hellfire and rage. And then first name. Give me a first name. Sam, David, Darlene. What is it? And we're done.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Darlene reminds me of Roseanne, which then reminds me of Full House. So let's go Stephanie.
Stephanie. Let's do it. All right, Stephanie. Are you ready?
I don't know if I'll ever be ready.
The Knight and the Dragon. I feel like we need adventure music. How about, wait a second. I know what we need. Lord of the Rings battle music.
Ooh.
Let's
I
see
just
here.
watched all of those recently.
Fantastic. Here it is. Can you hear that? It's too bad.
Nope, can't hear a thing, but I feel it. I feel the intensity.
Okay, here we go. The Knight and the Dragon. Once upon a time, there was a shaven knight named Stephanie, who, by his valiant incontinence, saved the kingdom from the pathetic dragon and banged the princess in the nick of time. He rode his limp-dickedly baboon from the fucking clueless, deep, slimy gorge upon which the kingdom was built, journeying into the unknown. He was filled with hellfire and rage and did not stop for fear the dragon would molest them all. By and by, he came to a giant Joe Biden, which blocked his path. He stopped and gurgled flamboyantly to himself. Then, summoning his soggy terminal retardation, he bludgeoned the Joe Biden out of his way and continued onward. At last, he reached the quivering coffin of the distasteful dragon. The dragon circle-jerked at his approach. They fought lesbianly. The battle was embarrassingly gay. And squirtly, raging a whole century, until at last the knight seized the dragon by the gooch and butt-plugged him with a mangled arm. The princess was grateful, and the knight bludgeoned her over his shoulder and returned to the king. The two promptly queefed, and they lived succulently ever after.
Brings a tear to my eye. That's how beautiful that was.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It really is. I love it. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here tonight. It was wonderful closing out another week with you, and I really hope that you have a good weekend. Why don't you tell people where to find you, please?
MikeIsFunny.com, and there's links to everything in the world.
That's it. It's also linked in the description of this episode, so you can click through right there. Mike, I can't wait for the next time.
Me neither. Adios, y'all. See ya.
Take care. All right, everybody, listen. We've got one order of business to do. One order. And that is to make sure we give all this the keto brains away and the silver and all that good stuff. So let's go do that right now. I hope you had a good time. We talked about Bigfoot. We talked about hauntings. We talked about one thing or another. And now it's time to just get you guys a little reward for being so awesome. As Steve Ellis says, family is going to LA next week. We will be terrorized. Will we be terrorized? I don't think so. I think you just do your thing, Steve Ellis. Let me get you in there. One more vote for Steve. Eli P says, Frank, Harper, and Easton keep running around the house saying, my dream was to say hi to Frank. Thanks for letting them say hi. Great show. Oh, man. That's awesome. See, I can't wait to meet people like Eli and Harper and Easton and all that. And that's why at this next jamboree that we're putting together, that we actually put the down payment down. It's going to be on June 6th. I want to make sure that families with members under 12, just get them in. If they're over 12, we'll talk about it. But I want families to come out and have a good time. So I'm happy. That makes me feel happy. Nathan Davis, thank you. X Irrational, I think we're all caught up over here. I have you all down. And again, thank you so much to our people on Rumble. I think I'm all caught up over there as well. Awaken Boomers, last one. We got you in, no doubt. And over on the Badlands, I'm pretty sure we're caught up over there too. I think the last one and the first one was Poso for Hope. Yes, we're good. And I have everybody been adding you guys on Pilled. From the back to the front, Tracer, Not Your Mom, Crickles, Joseph 777. Oh, I didn't get Joseph in there. That's the last one I didn't see. Joseph 777. But everybody else I got in. Silly Boar, Sentinel, Twisted Six, Molly Artie, Smoke Sash. Oh, wait. Did I put Smoke Sash in there? Yes. That was the second one I saw. Okay. And then all good. Now on Pilled, I'm going to read your guys' stuff on the other side of the end credits when we start the flip side. Before I jump on the drums, I think I'm going to fire up the drums tonight, and we'll play that for a couple of minutes. That is if all the audio settings are back to where it should be since our band practice. But anyway, we have 142 names here. Who's going to win the golden ticket and the 5 silver quarters and the Mad Ball? Who's going to win 1 month membership at Jay Gulanello's HealthReclamationProject.com? Who's it gonna be? The winner is. What the hell's happening over here? Sorry, everybody. Give me a second. The winner is Tracer. Finally, Tracer has won. Out of 142 names out there, Tracer has won. So Tracer, wherever you are, I don't know if that is a Pilled person. There's been a couple of consecutive Pilled wins over there, but I think that still the most winners have come out of YouTube. We've had quite a few from Rumble as well, but the last 2 weeks or so have been from Pilled. Tracer, get in touch with me. I got all this stuff to send out to you, and thank you guys for being a part of this tonight. Remember, if you buy your gold and silver through quitefrankly.gold and you use promo code Frankly, Tony Arterburn is going to send you free bits of silver with no matter what you buy. No order too small. So use promo code Frankly on quitefrankly.gold. And all, of course, our wonderful friends at Keto Brainz. Promo code MARCH. We're giving away $700 worth of stuff at the end of this month. Jump on it, my friends. We'll see you on the other side. On the flip side, thank you so much for Thursday. Thank you, Badlands. And again, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, that's The Playhouse with Anthony and I. Whole bunch of good stuff. Good night.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters. Starting with Isle of Vanal that just came in right now. It'll just be displayed in 9 seconds. Says, great story. I feel touched. I feel touched on the F spot. Well, there's a new one. Thank you, Steve Ellis and Eli P. and Nathan Davis and X Irrational. Eli P again, X Irrational again. HR Last, Mark the Carnivore, DJ Buliu, and Free Dubs, along with Molly Arty. To our Rumble friends, to our Pilled friends, we're going to get around to you right now. Most importantly, thank you for supporting the show. I try to give as much as I can, but I'd be nothing without you guys. So thank you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.